So I do sense there's a situation coming back from the past, okay? And I don't know if you have been dealing this during the Mercury retrograde, which is, you know, all through November around your birthday time. But I do feel like it's coming back around. And December is, you know, the holiday season. So a lot of people from our past tend to come back in, shoot us, you know, random text messages here and there, drunk texting, I would say like butt dialing, you know, pretending to butt dial, but like really they're trying to get a hold of you. I do see a situation here where somebody is like testing their water, the water with you, okay? Somebody is like testing where they stand with you. They're trying to like gauge how you're reacting to them. This can be through text messages, through social media, through some type of a distance-based communication. So they're not doing this face-to-face. You're not seeing them in the flesh. You're not seeing them physically. It's just things that are done, you know, over distance. And what I have here is I have the Eight of Wands, fast, swift communication. By the way, you have an extra card that fell out. And then I have the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords usually indicates a separation, okay? So somebody that you've been separated from is approaching you and wanting contact, wanting communication. I do see communication coming back and forth, but it's linked up here with the Page of Pentacles, so it's very slow. And it's very, you guys have a really good sixth sense. It's like if somebody's coming in and they're not, they're like fishing for information, or fishing for testing the water with you. Like you know exactly what their intentions are, because you guys are really sharp. And as soon as you know what their intentions are, you're waiting for them to be blunt and be straightforward with you. You don't want to beat around the bush. And you feel like they have this circuitous way in which they communicate, and it drives you nuts. It gets under your skin. And so I feel like Scorpio is thinking, you know, why don't you just spit it out? And then when they keep going around and round and trying to beat around the bush and not being, you know, upfront and honest with you about what it is that they want, you know, it's not just a simple hello. They want something. And I feel for many of you, this is an X, okay? Because with this Three of Swords, this is a separation. And this could have been a painful separation from your end or from their end. Usually, I feel like it might be from their end, because I feel like you're losing your patience. So you're not emotionally wrapped up in this. It's gone and done with. But I feel like from their end, there's still cords of attachment to you. And I feel like they're trying to figure out whether or not you're still available, whether or not you're still interested. And so they're beating around the bush. It's getting you more angry. And so you cut off the communication, because you want them to be sincere and straightforward and just, you know, spit it out. Like, what do you want? So I see this type of communication coming through, and this might be dotting, you know, this energy might be sporadic on and off, but it's going to permeate through all of your December. And so if this is somebody that you don't feel like you have that emotional connection anymore, just leave it alone, because they're going to say and do things to frustrate you, to kind of like reel you back in, okay? And then for others, if this is somebody that you want to engage in conversation with, just tell them, hey, I'm really busy, so can you tell me what you want? Just like cut the BS, you know, like cut the bull. Like, let's just be honest. Let's just be adults here. So I feel like just being really clear and being very blunt about your intentions for other people might actually do the trick for this month, okay? What I feel about water signs in general, and this is something that a lot of Cancerian people, Cancerian Pisces, you guys are a little bit better at it, I feel. You guys are really, really nice people. You don't want to say anything to upset anybody. You also don't want to make anybody feel bad. And like, I love water signs because they're very kind. But I do sense a lot of the times, it might be a lot better for you if you're very blunt and very honest with people, okay? Especially this type of people, these types that are coming through, because I feel like they're evasive, okay? They're evasive. And if somebody's being evasive, like not being straightforward with what they want, wanting one thing but saying another, like if someone is just, wishy-washy or like don't even know what they want, mirroring that energy is not going to be helpful, right? So either you do like, one fell swoop, just cut it off, or just be very, very blunt with the communication, okay? Because what I do sense is like that whole foggy scene that I saw at the very beginning, it's permeating through this entire reading where information is not clear, communication is not clear, people's intentions aren't very clear. And so rather than having to deal with this murkiness, one step at a time, I feel like it might be better to just slice through the BS and just ask people, what it is, what do you want? Like, what do you want? What do you want from me? Why are you communicating with me after all these months? What exactly is going on with you? Why do you need me? Why are you choosing me other than all the other people you have in the periphery of your life? I feel that holding people accountable, just like for being clear, for being concise, for being blunt with their communication, because I feel like you're going to be very busy. You don't have time for all of this. Okay, so stating your intentions, a lot of the times to the way that we interact with another person, it's always a two-way street, right? We have to make our intentions very clear. If you want to call me or if you want to have a conversation, don't do it through text. Call me directly. And then likewise, the other person can set their expectations for you. It's a two-way street, and I feel like this is not an exception. This is a situation where you really need to be very clear about what you want from the other person, because no one has probably told them, that. No one has probably told this person their behavior is problematic, or this person that their communication is not clear. So I feel like it's just going to be very helpful if we hash these things, out before we engage in further conversation, because like, what's the point, right? So that's just what I'm feeling, and I just feel like you might be a little bit frustrated this month because of all the things that you have on your plate, all the things that you're trying to wrap up so that you can, I feel for many of you, there might be a trip too. So like you're wrapping things up so that you can, be out of work or out of a situation in time to catch a train, catch a flight, catch a ferry, pick up the rental car, something like that, where time is very, very limited. So don't let these things, don't let these things interfere with your plans, because they're frustrating and we don't need to engage in that, okay? So enough about that. I don't mean to be preachy, but let me just talk a little bit more about a few things. So I feel like there's communication coming through, and I feel like this is going to be heavy in December. And I feel like it's somebody that they show up here, Page of Pentacles. This is sort of like, hey, you want to meet up for coffee and talk? Like an offer of something, like an offer for a face-to-face type of a sit-down conversation. It's done over like swift through electronic means. So I don't see that you're going to see them. I see that they're, trying to engage you in conversation, because ultimately they want this. They want to give you a gift For some of you, you might be meeting somebody and they're like, hey, I've got you something, okay, which is great. And then for others, I feel like this is, you know, exes, people from your past. I also feel for many of you, this might be a situation where there could be, on a lighter note, there could be like year-end bonuses, there could be bonuses, there could be gifts, there could be like performance-based type of a bonus, okay, which is great. And then I also feel like royalties, tribute, or something being given to you because of some work well done, or because it's like it's owed to you. So like money that might have left your hands for whatever reason is being sent back, okay? It is like being given back. If you have loaned somebody money or favors, these favors or that financial, you know, handout is going to be paid back to you with interest. And then I also feel like for many of you, this is like a huge bonus in a work situation. So we have a lot of things here. I also feel, and I must say this, even though it's negative, but I feel like, I guess like there's a silver lining. For example, if you've had any issues with your home, like let's say a tropical storm hit your house and, you know, the roof caves in, I feel like there's some type of a collection, like a insurance payout that will be given to you, okay? If it has been stalled in the past, there's something coming in to compensate you. If you've, God forbid, like got in a car accident, in a fender bender, and your car was totaled, or your car was, you know, you've been dealing back and forth with this very slow process. Knight of Pentacles, the slowest moving messenger in the deck, okay? If finances or news about money or news about a settlement or news about, you know, some type of compensation has been so slow and frustratingly, you know, slow in coming, you're going to be able to get some type of an answer. So like it's going to be, you're given an answer and there's a like a lump amount or lump sum that is coming into the picture. So I do feel, you know, in a way it's like being able to get what is rightfully yours, and being able to, even though there has been a lot of waiting and hang-ups and frustration, for those of you who might be freelancers or contractors or even self-employed, if you work for a client and this client might have been very difficult, there might have been a lot of back and forth regarding their expectations and what they wanted you to do for them and when and how they're going to pay you. All of these things are getting sorted out just so that you can, you know, get the money that's due to you. Okay. This is a situation I feel it's been frustrating. There have been a lot of back and forth, a lot of hang-ups, and I feel like the air is getting cleared up and you can breathe again, okay? So finances, honestly, will be really picking up. It's like if you've had financial issues, it's alleviating. If you're on a financial, like at a plateau, more, and especially if you're like self-employed, more clients will be coming in. And I do feel, you know, March and April are major breakthrough months for you guys when it comes to your finances. I also feel as if there's a situation here where you are definitely trying to start something brand new. You're trying to, I'm feeling like, cast away the expectations, other people's expectations, your own expectations of yourself. I see this man with a cloak. Okay, and the cloak, it's like a cape, a cloak. It's really heavy, and on it is like newspaper, like newsprints. That's what it looks like. And he's just like, I'm sick of it, and he tries to cast it off. And what I feel is like, for some of you, you might be in the tabloids, you might be in publishing, you might be dealing with a situation where there's a lot of gossip, or there's a lot of just bickering banter back and forth. And I feel like in a work environment, it might have been just a series of frustration. You're trying to cast it off and you're trying to go on a new path when it comes to your career. Okay, so we have some really strong major like, we have the Tower as well. The Fool and the Tower, the two major arcana cards that denote pretty much the same thing. Okay, so this is pretty much like breaking down something, starting on a new path. Okay, dismantling something so that you're free to go. And what it seems as if you have been mulling this over for a long time. You're taking all the baggage with you. Okay, you're kind of like, I don't need to be here. I need to be somewhere else. So I'm bringing all of my stuff, moving like physically from one house to the next. I feel like you're defending your position. So you might have a lot of people in your life who might be telling you, don't do that. That's not the right way to go. You know, for example, have been a teacher for 30 years. You have good pension. You have good retirement, but you're burnt out. You don't want to do it anymore. You know, once upon a time, that was the ideal job for you. But now the job no longer serves its purpose. Your destiny is elsewhere. So you want to leave and you want to jump into something new. But people around you are telling you, are kind of like misguiding you, making you doubt yourself, making you question, like questioning your authority, but also questioning your change of heart. But deep down, Scorpios, you've always mulled over this decision. You know, you guys don't make decisions lightly. And so I feel like you're not in a position where you have to defend your position or your beliefs or your decision to anybody. You don't need to do that. You don't need to justify yourself for anybody. And you're starting to realize that now. But I feel like there was a situation you stayed in for a very, very long time because of obligation, because of expectation, because you were doubting whether or not this is all, it's like, this is all I'm really good at, you know, or this is something I'm really good at. And you were afraid to take a new path because you were really good at this one thing. And like I said, when you do something, you do it really well. And so whatever next venture, career path, profession, you know, like change in profession that you decide to undertake, you're going to do it well. But I feel almost like you're losing faith in yourself or you're having doubt about your capabilities. So it's really prevented you from taking this next path. Okay. And you have taken a lot of time mulling it over. Okay. This is like really, really slow progress. And you might feel like you're not progressing anymore. You might feel like you've already learned everything there is to learn. There's nothing new. There's nothing interesting about it anymore. So you really want a change in scenery. You really want a change in direction. But you know, this is a turtle, a tortoise. And even at this point, if he wants to pull on the reins and change direction, that tortoise is going to take some time to realign himself and to adjust his body and to move himself in a different direction, right? So change takes time, but I also feel like you've been sitting here defending this and doubting yourself for quite some time and not really sure if this is the right path for you to take. And I feel like everybody around you is very risk averse. They're telling you, you know, stay with the status quo. Don't make any drastic moves. Don't go on this journey. You know, don't cast it off. Don't travel light. And they want you kind of like strapped and tethered to things that you don't need, to things that are not really helpful for you or, you know, have become a huge burden to you. And they don't really understand that you're kind of buckling under this pressure. So I do sense this is a decision that you need to make on your own without the noise and the influence of other people, because ultimately, you know, they might want the best for you, but I feel like their advice might not be appropriate for your life, for all the things that you already know about yourself, their advice might not be appropriate. I feel like there's a group of people here, you're already 10 steps ahead of them. So whatever advice they're giving you is pretty belated and not applicable to your life right now because you're 10 paces ahead of them. Does that make sense? You have already outgrown a situation. There isn't any more growth that you can extract. You know, wringing a towel, like you can't extract anything else out of it. And so it's time to go. For other of you, there might be a property, like a physical dwelling, a house, an apartment, or whatever it is that's physically holding you back. You might want to, you know, move somewhere else for a new job, but you have a property that you need to sell. Okay. So I feel like there's a lot of like logistics that need to be kind of squared away. And you're trying to make sense of it in your mind. What do I do first? What's step one? Sell the property. Step two, you know, get a job. Or do I get a job first and then try to sell the property? So I feel like everything is like linked up, you know, like, what is that word? I'm sorry, my vocabulary is escaping me. So everything is like interrelated or like embedded or just, you know, enmeshed. So one decision can't be made in a vacuum. Okay, like one decision depends on another. And because of it, things get really complicated. And I get that, but I do sense that, you know, they're telling you one step at a time. Figure out what you want to do. If the move is what you're trying to do, then go for that move. You know, maybe find that job first. Once that job is locked down, then you can think about selling the property. So I feel like there's a lot of things here, and in your mind, everything is so interrelated and like embedded and layers upon layers, and you can't really pull yourself from it and make a decision. But the way you're looking at it might be a little bit muddled or might be wrong.